The GPS died 40 minutes before I got there. No warning, just blank. I drove the last stretch on instinct, following the coordinates I'd memorized. There were no signs, no fences, just trees and shadows, growing thicker the deeper I went into the woods. It was like the road wanted me to get lost, but then there it was, the cabin. Old, rotting, choked in vines and snow mold, though the air wasn't cold. The place looked abandoned, like it hadn't seen a soul in decades. And yet the door was slightly open, inviting me in. I parked the car and stepped into the silence. No birds, no wind, no insects. Just a thick, unnatural stillness. Inside, the air smelled like old varnish and dried blood. The floors creaked under my boots and the walls were lined with paintings. Some half-finished, some completed, all nightmarish. Twisted portraits, stretching faces, limbs bent the wrong way. One was just a black void with a screaming mouth painted in the center. But every one of them, everyone had my eyes. On the cabin's far wall was a wooden panel carved with a symbol I'd seen before. A mirrored H, the Harlow sigil. Beneath it, etched in the wood, were words in Latin, ex umbra ars aeterna. I didn't know Latin, but I knew that phrase. It had been scribbled in the journal I found back at the house. From shadow art eternal. A hidden door groaned open beside it. Stairs leading down, and of course, I followed. The basement wasn't made of wood. It was stone, cold and damp, and larger than the cabin itself. Like the cabin was just a skin stretched over something ancient. The walls were covered in murals. Murals of me. Me walking through the Harlow house. Me standing before the altar. Me screaming in the studio. Me watching myself from mirrors. The timeline. It was accurate. And worse, it continued. Murals I hadn't experienced yet. One showed me trapped in a gilded frame. Another had me painting someone else's face. And in one, I was smiling next to the mirror-faced woman, both of us covered in blood. Then I saw the real painting. It was bigger than all the others, hung behind a locked iron gate. Candlelight flickered across its cracked surface. It was ancient, but beneath the years of grime and dust, I saw the signature, J. Harlow. It was a self-portrait of the original painter. He looked just like me. Not similar, identical. I stumbled back, heart pounding. My fingers brushed against an old metal filing cabinet tucked into the corner. Inside, yellowed folders and brittle photographs. One of them showed the Harlow house in the early 1900s. Same house, same architecture, same cursed feel. But next to it, rows of portraits, all different people. But each one wore the same expression, blank, empty, like their faces were just placeholders. One photograph was paperclipped to a letter, written in looping script. The painting requires the original. It always finds him again. Different life, same soul. The house remembers, the house restores. My knees buckled. All this time, it wasn't about haunting. It was about reclaiming me. I wasn't some unlucky visitor. I was the next incarnation of Julian Harlow himself, and the house wanted its painter back. I heard a noise above me, floorboards groaning. Someone else was here. I stuffed the letter in my jacket and turned off the light, then crept back up the stairs. Through the crack in the door, I saw a figure standing in the main room. Tall, thin, wrapped in burlap robes that scraped the floor, face hidden by a veil sewn from canvas. One arm held a wooden box, and then he spoke, voice low like a dull blade scraping rock. The painting is unfinished. The soul is ready. The frame awaits. I stepped back. Too loud. The figure turned. Even though I couldn't see its eyes, I felt them lock on me. I ran, shoved open the front door, bolted into the woods. Behind me, no footsteps, no shouting, but I could still feel that thing in my head. You've painted before, Julie. You'll paint again. I didn't stop until I reached the car. It didn't start, of course. I slammed the wheel, tried again, nothing. Then, I saw it in the rearview mirror. The figure, standing at the tree line, still watching, and slowly raising one finger. pointing. Not at me. At the seat beside me. There was a box. Same one he'd been holding. I didn't put it there. I didn't see him place it, but it was there now. Wrapped in old muslin cloth. Tied with a black ribbon. I didn't want to open it. God, I shouldn't have opened it. But of course, I did. Inside was a paintbrush, wrapped in human hair, and beneath it, a blank canvas, still wet, still breathing. I stared down at it, trembling. And then I heard it. The sound of a brush sliding across skin. Only this time, it was coming from me. From my own hand, moving on its own, dipping into the air, and beginning to paint. Not the cabin and not the woods, but a new room. One I hadn't seen before. Circular, all mirrors, and in the center, a single chair. Facing me, the canvas pulsed once, then stilled. And behind me, somewhere out in the woods, I heard the groan of something massive opening. A door, and a gate, another house, another layer, and just one word carried on the wind. Return. The canvas wouldn't stop breathing. It sat on the passenger seat, exhaling soft clouds like lungs pressed under wet linen. No matter how far I drove or how fast, I could still hear it. A slow inhale. A long, desperate exhale. Like something was alive in the fabric, waiting to be finished. But that wasn't even the worst part. I kept painting. Every time my right hand wasn't gripping the wheel, it would twitch, reach, pretend to hold a brush. I had to tie it with a shoelace to keep from stroking invisible lines in the air. And the worst part, I wasn't horrified. I was calm. Like it was muscle memory, like I'd done it before. I didn't decide where to go next. The road took me there. Somewhere deep in the mountains, no GPS, no cell service. Just a winding trail that led to a place I didn't recognize. But my bones did. Another house, far older than the others. Not ruined, preserved, perfect. Like it had been waiting. The front door opened on its own. The air that came out wasn't dusty or stale. It was warm, welcoming. And I stepped inside like I belonged. Because I did. The entrance hall was all mirrors. Dozens of them. Floor to ceiling. Some cracked, some warped. None of them showed me. Just empty hallways. Flickering candles. Painted faces that shouldn't have moved but did. And then, one reflection changed. Not my body. Not my clothes. Just my face. It wasn't me anymore. It was Julian Harlow, older, eyes wild, teeth yellow, cheeks streaked with red paint, or blood. He looked at me, spoke without moving his lips, finished the gallery. The walls behind him swung open, and I saw it. A hallway stretched for what looked like miles. Every few feet, a door. Each one labeled, Subject 001, Subject 002, Subject 003. I walked past them one after another until I found the one labeled Subject 303, Aiden Wells. That's me. I opened the door. Inside, an exact replica of the bedroom I grew up in. Down to the old race car sheets. The poster of Mars on the wall. The scratch on the desk I'd blamed on my cousin. But this wasn't a memory. It was a reconstruction. Someone or something had been watching me, studying me, preserving me like a museum piece. And on the wall above the bed, a single canvas, blank, wet, waiting. I stepped closer, my hand lifted. Even without a brush, it moved in long, practiced strokes. I saw outlines start to form in the canvas. Familiar shapes, my childhood home, my parents, my dog, Max. All of it flowing from memory into shape. I tried to stop. I couldn't. The canvas wanted it. Needed it, fed on it. And when I stepped back, my breath caught in my throat. Because the painting moved. Little flickers inside it. My mother wiping the sink. My dog chasing a ball. Tiny, fluid motions. Like the canvas wasn't a painting at all. It was a window. Behind me, someone clapped. Slow, deliberate. I turned, and she was there. The mirror-faced woman. But now she had a face. Mine. My face. Smiling back at me, only older, wiser, and smeared with crimson across the lips like lipstick. You've done beautifully, she said. He always knew you'd return. I backed against the wall. She stepped forward, barefoot on the wooden floor. You are not the haunted Aiden. You are the haunter. You are the one who stays behind. I shook my head. Number no, I came here to escape, she smiled. There's no escape from your own gallery. And then the lights above us flickered. Dozens of doors in the hallway swung open, and people, strangers, began to step out, eyes wide, terrified, just like I had been when I first arrived. That's when I understood they weren't just paintings, they were new subjects. Each one of them was me, from different lives, reborn into different times, different forms, all drawn back to this place. And I was the one captured, again and again. You are Julian Harlow, she said. You always have been. Each lifetime, you're reborn. And each time, the house finds you. Because the gallery must grow. The air thickened. My chest tightened. I tried to scream, but no sound came. Instead, paint poured from my mouth, thick, black, oily. I dropped to my knees, and the woman, myself, knelt beside me. Now, she whispered, brushing my cheek, you must choose. Become the frame or the brush. The walls around me twisted. The floor groaned. And from the mirror above the bed, I saw a reflection again. It was me. But my skin was made of canvas, my veins ink, my heart a pulsing paintbrush. I stood in front of the canvas, raised my hand, and began painting again. Only this time, I wasn't painting memories. I was painting someone new. A child, lost in the woods, drawn to a house he'd never seen before. A house waiting for him. A house full of mirrors. And through the paint, I saw him. Confused, afraid, real, because he wasn't just a story. He was next. Now I sit here, alone, watching, waiting. There's one canvas left in the gallery. Yours. It's still blank. But not for long, because the house is patient, and it always finds who it needs. Just like it found me. Just like it found all of us. You'll see. When the mirror doesn't show your face anymore. When the reflection starts moving before you do. When the painting on your wall begins to breathe, you'll know it's time. And I'll be here, brush in hand, smiling.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more horror tales.